Hi everyone, this is a screencast of the demo that I gave in class on the 29th of October. So that was week 2. And I'm just going to walk through it with you. I have a dual or a side-by-side window arrangement here with the slides on the left side and the Replit environment on the right. So you'll want to visit Replit, which I've already done, and then you will select under Explore More, you will select Developer Frameworks. As shown in this slide, the second step will be to search on HTML, and you'll find the very first hit is called HTML, CSS, JS static. You'll click on that, and that will give you the opportunity to remix. So you'll click on remix and it will basically take that stuff. You can enter a specific name for your homework, week 2 or whatever you like. And then click on use framework. And this will basically build kind of a workspace for you to do your coding in. The first thing I'd like you to do is, as always, for now, move the divider here all the way over to the left so the agent kind of goes away and we get back some screen real estate. Then click up here in the upper right on the Open Files dialog so you can see your files. The key ones are just these three: index.html, script.js, and style.css. Those are the three files we worked with in class on Wednesday. Let's start with index.html. You get a default one that says hello world. I'd like you to just delete that in its entirety. And then type in this. So I have the luxury, since I'm editing these slides, of copy pasting it. I'd like you to type this. I know it's tedious, but I think it's a good experience to just sort of get the code under your fingers. So this is one big HTML, well, it's not that big, but one HTML document here. And then inside of that we have a header here to here. And then we have a body here to here. And just like in class, the parts inside the body didn't indent properly. So I'm just going to indent them here. You don't really have to do that. As I mentioned, it's not strictly required, but it improves readability. So this is just going to print a header that says hello web, a paragraph. There's a link here to example.com. There's an image and a button that at the moment will do nothing. And I invite you to play around with this, tweak it any way you like to kind of make it your own. Anyway, let's go ahead and run this. So we'll click on this run serve static. And in order to see what it does, we're going to click the plus sign and open the preview app. If you don't see it, you can enter in the search here, preview, and that will bring it up to the top for you. And there's hello web. If you click on that link, it'll take you to example.com. There's my little image, and there's the button that you can click, but it does nothing. So that's some plain HTML that's just setting the stage for something a little bit more interesting. Now we'll go to the next step here. We're going to take the style. So again, you'll have to type this manually. And you'll have to type it very carefully, but you'll find out one way or another if you make a typing mistake. So I'm going to click in the file navigator style.css. That's the name of the file in which we're going to store our CSS code. You'll find something there already. Just get rid of it and then type in our specification. You will see, at least I'm seeing this like lower intensity colored bit of text after my cursor. That's a suggestion. So if I hit tab, it will add that. I don't want it, so I'm going to click above that line just to make it go away. Why was that there? The Replit code editor is trying to be helpful and saying, oh, I see you have a body and an H1 and a dot highlight. You probably want an A specification for your hyperlink. So just adding code that thinks you might need. And by the way, this dot highlight I'm not actually using, so I'm going to get rid of that. It won't hurt to leave it, but I'm just cleaning it up. And so this is code that's saying in CSS, this bit between the curly braces should affect the body element, and this bit between these curly braces should apply to the h1, which is the header element. And what we're specifically saying is the header should have the color dark blue, and the body of the document should use font family sans serif, and this background color. Let's change that. White is not going to be detectable, so let's make it like a kind of a blue. And now if we go to the preview and reload the page, nothing happened. And as we saw in class, that's because we created a style.css file, which is great, but we didn't tell our main HTML file about that file. We didn't say, we have a style sheet that we want you to use in this app. So what we need to do is refer to that file so that when the browser pulls the HTML, it sees, oh, there's also some style we should associate with this HTML. And to do that, we go back to the index.html file, and we add a new line at the bottom of the head element. And interestingly, the autocomplete is almost exactly what we want. But I'm not going to click tab and accept it. I'm going to paste it because I wanted a slightly different syntax there. But the autocomplete was sort of seeing what we're doing and realizing, oh, you probably want a reference to a style.css file. Anyway, you'll paste that one line there, and with that, you can go back to preview, reload your page, and I guess it's a little bit subtle, but the typeface is different now. The Hello Web header is now in blue, dark blue. What else did we change? I thought we changed some back. Oh yeah, that was the font, not the background color. Oh, it was this one, the background of the body. For some reason, I thought I changed that to like a green or a blue, and it didn't seem to take. So I'm going to do that again. Oh, so when I click on this spectrum here, it changes what you see in the big panel, but then I have to select something in this bigger panel here. So it's sort of like a selection, a multi-step selection process. Okay, so now I've got the actual background color selected to be different for the body, and when I reload the page, I get that background color. So hopefully it gives you a sense of kind of thing you can do in the style sheet or the CSS file, and how we pointed the HTML to use that CSS file. The next step is we're going to add some JavaScript, and this will, because JavaScript gives you interactivity and gives the page kind of dynamic behavior, this is actually software code that we're going to implement in a file in a language called JavaScript. So we're going to type this. I'm going to cheat and copy it, but you're going to type this into script.js. It's empty initially. And what this is doing is when this code gets run, it gets run locally in the browser. It creates a variable called btn where it stores a reference to the button, then a message variable, msg, which stores a reference to a paragraph that we named message. And all it says is add to the button an event listener for the click event, meaning whenever someone clicks on that button, I think the button right now says click me or something like that. Whenever that button gets clicked, set the text context in the message paragraph to say button clicked, meaning insert the words button clicked into that empty paragraph. So the paragraph is always there. It's right there already. You just don't see it. It's below click me because there's nothing in it. And then after we click it, it's going to actually add something. Now I'm clicking it. Well, I haven't reloaded it, so I'll reload it to get the JavaScript file. But nothing's happening, and that's the same reason we saw the reference to the same reason we saw the style.css changes didn't work until we referred to them in the HTML. So hopefully you're getting the idea that index.html is really the master sort of document for the whole application. It's not only containing the content to be presented, but it's also got all the references to the other parts of the app that need to be pulled in. So we added this style.css line that told the browser this HTML needs this style.css file. We now need to add a line for accessing the JavaScript file. And we put this, just to confuse you, the the style.css reference went at the end of the heading uh, section. This is going to go at the end of the body section, and it's just for technical reasons. But this belongs in the body. So we say script source equals script.js. That's just the file name. If we name that file something else, that could be different, and it would work fine as long as we're consistent. And that tells the browser, when you fetch this HTML, go grab this script.js and interpret it as JavaScript so that it runs when you load the page. And once we do that, we've now got a reference to this script.js code, which is designed to insert button clicked whenever someone clicks the button. And now we've got everything in place to get this sort of dynamic behavior. If I go back to the preview, reload the page, and now when I click me, it says button clicked. So now we're actually using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript all in one page, which is cool. But the behavior, the JavaScript behavior, is quite simple. All it does is print click me. If you click it again, it's going to just continue printing click me. Sorry, it's not printing click me. It's printing button clicked, and it's just printing that over and over again, overwriting what's already there. It's kind of not very interesting, and you can't even tell if it's working exactly as expected. So we're going to make the button do a little bit more. Where we have so we're gonna, I'm gonna copy this, you're gonna type this, where we have back into the index.html, where we have a button that says click me, we're gonna change that button. You could actually just change the text in the button, but I'm gonna replace the whole line. But I think that's all it did, was changed click me to cat fact. Let's just see what that did. Let's reload, and yeah, now it says cat fact, but it still has the same old JavaScript behavior attached to it. So when I click cat fact, it says button clicked. So the last step is we're going to change the JavaScript behavior. We've already got this button.add event listener, click async, blah, blah, blah. So we don't really need to change that. What you can do is just change the interior portion of this code. And I'll show you how I'm doing that. I go to script.js, and where it says message.textContent equals button clicked, which is just blindly, slamming the string button clicked into that paragraph every time you click it, we're going to change that line to do something slightly more subtle and more interesting. I'm going to indent it, but I don't have to. And this is going to say response equals fetch cat fact ninja fact. So this is a URL which, if you visit that, if you visit that independently in your web browser, you'll see that you get a unique cat fact every time you visit that URL. So this is sort of doing that, the equivalent of visiting a page in your browser from within a program, programmatically fetching a web resource. And it's depositing the result in RES, and then we do some things with RES to extract the actual fact information out of the response, and then we put that into the paragraph. So this is changing the paragraph with a new cat fact every time we click that button. And one last thing we need to do is this await is an asynchronous it's a special word in JavaScript which means do this and just wait for it. Let it run, because it may take a while, and wait for the answer. And we need to do that because this fetch can take a long time, and we want to be able to do other things in parallel and not have everything just lock up in the browser while it waits for that fetch to complete. We call this, in computer science terms, the technical term for this is asynchronous behavior. And so if we want to use this functionality, we need to mark this function as async. So right before the brackets here, we're going to say async, like that. And you notice once I added that one keyword, the flagging, like that red curly underlining of the await keywords, went away. So with that, should have everything we need. We're still referencing the script.js. Once we do that, we're good. We can then change the code freely and don't need to keep doing anything with the HTML. Now it's still saying button clicked because I haven't reloaded the preview. Now that I've reloaded the preview, you You can see every time I get cat's back is flexible, blah, blah, blah. So I'm getting a new cat fact every time. So hopefully that gives you a sense of, building a small bit of index.html, some JavaScript, some CSS styling, and how they all get tied together, where the index.html file is kind of the master document that makes sure the browser knows about everything it needs to download in order to run your web app. That's it for now. Talk to you all on Wednesday night.